Wednesday, July the 6th. Lake level is about 917.26. It's come up about a foot since our report last week. We've had quite a bit of rain the last 4 or 5 days, which has kind of been a good thing because it's kept the ski boats and a lot of the big boats at home. So the lake hadn't been too awful bad. I've actually been spending most of my time up in the river arms, and whether I go up into Long Creek or the James or up into the Kings River, I've been able to do the same thing whichever river arm I go into. The water temperature's actually cooled down a little bit. It's about 84 degrees. A lot of that rain, it's been cool rain. But with the rain and the overcast, I'm finding a few topwater fish, but nothing that's real consistent. My best bite has been football jigs, Carolina rig, and deep diving crankbait. And I am still catching some on a drop shot. Now on the crankbait, I've been throwing Strike King 6XDs, but I know fat-free shads will work. I've also been throwing on my people that can't throw bait casters. I've been rigging them up with a 5XD Series 5, and that's working as well. A lot of the fish that I'm catching on these crankbaits, I'm fishing Main River, gravel points, roll-offs, where they got a drop on one side or the other. And I'm setting the boat anywhere from 15 to 20 foot of water. And the fish are really grouped up, whether it be on the crankbait or on the football jig. Whenever you can get one to bite and get them fired up. There's several times today we had fish on back-to-back casts, like 4 in a row, whether it be on a crankbait or a football jig. And the crankbait I'm throwing, if you're going to throw a big crankbait all day, you got to have a rod that's comfortable. And I'm throwing on a Lew's custom crankbait rod. It's a custom speed stick designed just for big crankbaits, and it's a 7/6, real comfortable. I can get the butt end of the rod up underneath my forearm, so not all the pressure is on my wrist, and you can really wing the bait out a long way. I'm throwing it on 10 or 12 pound line. And just basically covering a lot of water with the crankbait. I'm mixing it up with the crankbait and the jig. Usually one of us is throwing a jig, one's throwing a crankbait until we see what they want. And like I say, on both baits, several times when you get one bite, you'll get several. And the football jigs I'm throwing a 5/8 ounce mainly. And the color doesn't seem to matter all that much. I'm throwing a green pumpkin purple. Another one I'm throwing is a green pumpkin with orange. And I'm really mixing the trailers up. It seemed like bigger trailers are working better. I'm using a Zoom Speed Craw Ultra Vibe, a Strike King, the Big Rage Craw, or this is a Strike King, I think it's a Rage Chunk, but just like a pocket chunk will work, something with a lot of tail action. Seems like, something that's got a lot of leg action is working a little bit better for me. And I'm catching a lot of fish on a swing head too. This is a Strike King. I know everything I'm saying here is Strike King, but other brands will work. It's just that I like their stuff, so I throw a lot of Strike King product. But another swing head I'm throwing is a pig sticker. LaRue makes one that's called a Biffle Hard Head that'll work. And you'll see this one, I've got an Ultra Vibe Speed Craw. The Strike King structure head, I've got a baby brush hog, and a full-size brush hog will work. I'm fishing this in about the same depth in the same place I'm fishing the crankbait. A lot of times you can just keep the bait scooting across the bottom. Other times I'm having to crawl it and just pop it a little bit. But I'm fishing it on these main lake river points where there's maybe a creek that comes on one side of the point, or whether it's a bluff end, it's got a channel swing on it. And the fish are definitely grouped up, and I'm catching a mixture of largemouths and largemouths and Kentuckys. Another bait I'm throwing out there too, if you get out over the drops where it drops off, you'll see a lot of fish suspended in that 15 to 20 foot range. I've been catching some on a big spoon. This is a Lake Fork spoon here. Strike King 4.5 or 5.5 will work. And also I'm catching them on several different swim baits. This is a a Yum Money Minnow. It's got a 1/2 ounce head, and I've been throwing like a 4.3 Kitech Rainbow Shad on the same deal. I'm just trying to get the bait down to about 12 or 15 foot and reel it real slow. Today we seem to get a lot more fish that slapped at the swim bait and didn't really eat it that well, but they did eat the crankbait and the jig real well. I haven't fished down lake, like I said, in the last 4 or 5 days. I've been staying away from the Kimbling area and the dam, mainly because I don't want to get around the boat traffic. Just, up in the river arms, only boats I'm seeing up there pretty much are fishing boats. But on the drop shot, I am catching fish on there on the drop shot. But when it's cloudy and overcast, the drop shot bite hasn't been as good. That seems to work a little better when the sun's up. But I'm still getting bit on the 3 worms that I mainly like to throw. This is a watermelon candy, a plum, and this one's a brown-purple laminated chompers. These 2 here are hand pours that a buddy makes for me. But I think a lot of the Zoom finesse worms will work just as well. Zoom makes several good drop shot worms. The Robo worm will work good. But a lot of the drop shot fish have been around 25, 28 feet, whether they're just off the bottom or out there suspended off the ends of these roll-offs or bluff ends. Now, the bite, without a doubt is better in the river arms. I have not tried the football jig and the swing head up on the main lake, mainly because I haven't been there. And I think I'm up there the next couple days, so I'll try it around the Kimbling City area. But with the water cooling down, there seems to be quite a few fish in that 15 to 20 foot range. So hopefully I can reproduce that same thing in the Kimbling and the dam area. Like I say, it's been working up in the Kings and Long Creek and up in the James. Like I say, topwater bite hadn't been too much. The crankbait bite has by far been my best bite as far as numbers and size of fish. Whenever you can find a school and get them fired up, you got to move around quite a little bit. There's a lot of places I'll find fish. Sometimes I might have to come back to that place 2 or 3 times during the day and just get there at the right time when they're feeding. There hadn't been much current. Like today, I think they only ran 1 generator. Then at 1 o'clock, they were supposed to run another one. So if they would run more water in the morning, get some more current going, that would definitely help the football jig and the crankbait bite. But till next week, looks like everything should stay the same as far as the lake level. Sun gets back out. I don't think it's going to affect the fishing near as much as it's going to affect the fishermen. Just try to stay hydrated and be safe. But till next week, good luck, good fishing.